So, what is going to happen in the year 2023? Today is January the 2nd of 2023, and I'm going to make predictions of all the things that are going to happen in 2023. So, let us go.
Hey Tom Peng, love what you're doing on your channel, buddy. Super congrats. You know, giving your time and energy to nonprofit business channel. Look, man, keep driving that audience. So Tom Peng, look forward to spending some time with you. I know you got the right mindset, so I'd love for you to share some of that from the big V. God bless, be great. 10X.
All right, so last year I made a lot of predictions for the year 2022. And not really surprised, but most of my predictions, actually all of them, come true, right? So I predicted, what did I predict? I predicted the pandemic's gonna come to an end. It's going to be a period of stagflation. US dollar is gonna go up, Bitcoin is gonna go down, stock market is going down, real estate price in Vietnam will stay high. Energy prices are going to go up. US-China relations will continue to sour. EV sales will continue to increase. Metaverse is going to fail. I think that one surprised a lot of people. A lot of people think, oh, Metaverse is going to be the next big thing, but it didn't happen. It's a flop. And I also predicted that Argentina is going to win the World Cup, and they did. And I also predicted that Ukraine is going to prevail in the war, and so they did. So all of those things actually have come true in 2022, and now we want to make our predictions for 2023. I really spent a lot of time thinking about this, and here are my predictions. Rise of India. In 2023, we're going to see the population of India become #1 in the world, surpassing that of China. India is going to be the most populated country in the world. That's going to give them a lot of economic clout if they can implement the right economic strategies. So let's look at the macroeconomic situations of the world today. There is a China-US trade war. There's a lot of sanctions against China. A lot of manufacturers are looking for an alternative market to set up their factory and produce products. And they're looking increasingly to India because India has a huge population, and that population is also very different from that of China because in India, most of the population is of working age, meaning they are young. In China, the population is getting old, meaning a lot of those people are not in the working age anymore. Also, the Indian population is continually increasing, whereas the Chinese population has already stabilized. And more likely, the Chinese demography is going to continue to age. So all of these factors is making international businesses, manufacturers, exporters, increasingly looking to India as a place to build their business. So in 2023, we're going to start to see more and more of made in India products as opposed to made in China. There's going to be more and more of made in India. What does this mean to Vietnam? This means that India is going to be a direct competitor to Vietnam, because when international businesses are looking for a place to invest, to set up factories, they're going to look at India, they're going to look at Vietnam, and they're going to realize that India has a lot of people and it's very cheap labor, maybe even cheaper than Vietnam, and maybe they go there. So for Vietnam, we also have a very young population, but for Vietnam, what we should do here is to use more automation, more technology, more robots in our production, increase our product quality, because we don't want to make cheap plastic toys anymore. We don't want to make cheap products anymore. In Vietnam, we want to make high quality products, technology products. We want to make products that people want to buy, people are willing to spend a lot of money for. That's how we're going to differentiate ourselves against low labor cost countries like India. But increasingly you're going to see more and more made in India products across the world. That is my prediction for 2023. This is all going to start in 2023. Reconciliation of the US-China relations. In the last 3 years, we saw US-China relationships getting worse and worse and worse. There's a lot of sanctions imposed on China. You know, they really destroyed Huawei, if you know about that story. And lately there's, like technology restrictions, like US government forbids US companies from exporting chip or semiconductor technology or products to China. And this is really debilitating to the Chinese economy, because without those high-tech semiconductors, it's really difficult to build products in China. Situation could not get worse. The relationship between the United States and China is really in the shit right now, right? But my prediction for 2023 is that the relationship between US and China is actually going to get better. And I don't think anybody will predict that, but I, Tom Peng, here right now predict that the US-China relationship will get better in 2023. And let me tell you why, okay? Because the world economy is in the shit, all right? The US and the world is already in a recession, even though nobody has announced it yet. But we are in a period of economic slowdown, right? A lot of people are suffering. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs. And in order to revive that economy, because of course, the United States President Biden, he wants to win the next election. He needs to get the economy back on track. And how do you do it? Well, the United States still need low-cost products coming in from China to satisfy consumer demand, right? They want to fix the whole supply chain issue so Americans can buy affordable products made in China. So you're going to see some form of improvement. Also on the Chinese side, right? The Chinese government just finished its 20th People's Congress, and Xi Jinping, the president of China, he basically has full control of the Chinese government. There's no election there, there's no democracy there, but internally there's some struggle, and finally President Xi has won basically every position, every senior position in the government. So Xi has no one to counter him, and Xi has no opponents in government. Now he needs to shift his focus from competing with his rivals to actually fixing the Chinese economy. Because now, in order for him to stay in power, he needs to fix the economy so that people can get back to work. And so you have the United States and China both have a strong desire to fix the economy. And in order to do that, both sides need to reconcile. They need to give in a little bit. And I believe in 2023, you're gonna see some form of reconciliation. You're gonna see some form of China-US making up for the betterment of their people, for the world economy. And this is my prediction. Most people would not predict that, but that is my prediction. Let's see if I'm right in 2023. The official announcement of the 2023 recession. We know the economy is in the shithole right now, but no country, not even the United States, not even President Biden has announced that recession has occurred. In the world today, no government has officially announced the world is in recession. But usually, governments don't make this announcement after 2 consecutive quarters of economic slowdown. I believe that's going to happen. And sometime in 2023, probably in quarter 2 or quarter 3, eventually the United States will have no choice but to announce that recession is finally here, and it will be official. 2023 is the year of a recession, and probably a severe one. You're gonna see that announcement, and let's see if that happens. Market predictions. Okay, so there are many indicators we're gonna predict for 2023. The first one is interest rate. Inflation remains very high in many countries, including the United States and many Western countries. So what you're probably going to see is that the United States government going to increase the interest rate by 50 base points to see if it brings down inflation. If it doesn't work, then they're going to increase 100 base points. And finally, when they see some effect, they will continue to increase the interest rate by 50 base points until inflation is in control, because they have already sacrificed the economy to try to wrestle inflation down to the ground, and they're not going to stop. They're going to make sure they do all the way. Otherwise, all the work they've done in the last few months will have been wasted. So they're going to continue the course. They're going to continue to increase interest rate until inflation is under control. And that's probably going to happen into Q1, Q2, Q3 of next year. And what that means is that it's going to be increasingly more and more expensive to borrow money from the bank. And that's going to affect a lot of businesses, a lot of individuals. It's going to continue to slow down economic activity. Increase rate is going to continue to go up in 2023. What about real estate? Let's talk about real estate around the world. Well, the real estate value around the world is crashing. In Vietnam, historically, real estate prices only go up, but I'm going to make a very bold prediction right now for 2023 is that Vietnamese real estate prices will finally go down this year. All right, it will crash. Finally, it'll crash because the Chinese real estate prices are crashing due to many of the financial issues, financial bubbles that are happening there. Also, the world real estate prices are crashing, and just because the Vietnamese interest rate is going to be so high, there's no choice but to see a correction in the real estate market. So I predict that the Vietnamese real estate value will go down this year, and that is bad news if you bought houses or real estate properties in the last couple of years. But it's good news if you're just entering into the market or you're looking for property to invest in. Now is the time. What about the stock market? In an environment where global interest rate is going up, the stock market will continue to suffer. We're gonna see global stock market indices continue to go down and stock values continue to go down. This may not be a good time to put your money in the stock market. That's why cash is king. A lot of people are cashing out from the stock market and they're holding on to cash because right now it's really hard to find good investment vehicle. So real estate is shit, stock market is shit. So what do people with money do with their money? They convert it into cash and they hold on to the cash, put it in the bank and get high interest rate. Cash is king during a recession. So stock market will continue to go down, may not be the best place to put your money. What about Bitcoin? Well, we saw Bitcoin crash from $80,000 to $16,000 as of today. I have never invested in cryptocurrency. I think it's a fucking scam. And I'm not giving you financial advice, but I would never invest in cryptocurrency because it's not a real thing. And my prediction for any cryptocurrency is that they are gonna continue to go down, probably to the $10,000 mark sometime this year, and maybe even lower. So I would not put my money into any cryptocurrency. And if you must put money into cryptocurrency, I mean, you shouldn't, but if you must, I would only put it into Bitcoin or Ethereum. That's it. Like everything else is fucking shit. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. I wouldn't even do it for those two. But if you have to do it, choose those two, nothing else, okay? They're all shit, all right? And what about unemployment rate? Well, right now, unemployment seems to be stable, but we know that a lot of companies are letting people go. A lot of companies are laying off in the United States, in Canada, even in Vietnam. I'm talking about Microsoft, Facebook, Twitter, Google. In Vietnam, we're talking about VNG, CT Group, Nova Group, Vin Group, and many other technology companies. A lot of companies are laying people off, and I just don't see how unemployment rate is going to stay low. It is going up. It's going to get higher in 2023. What about inflation? Well, inflation will stay stable in the early part of 2023. And eventually, because of the interest rate being raised by many state banks, eventually inflation will come down probably later on in the second half of 2023, and that is my prediction. Let's see if all of those things come true for 2023. Donald Trump leading the polls. So in 2023, a lot of US candidates are going to announce their run for US presidency in 2024. You're going to see a lot of people announce their names. They're going to run for the presidency. And one of the most infamous or famous, depending on your point of view, is going to be Donald Trump. He already announced he's going to run. He's going to be the most watched candidate. I believe Donald Trump is going to take a massive lead in the polls in 2023 when a lot of people are going to express their desire to vote for Donald Trump in the 2024 election. And that's why he's going to lead the polls. And the reason is not because he's a great person or he's a great president or any of those reasons, but the reason is because the economy in the United States is shit. And a lot of people are looking for someone to turn this around. And they look to Donald Trump to do that. And I believe a lot of the Americans are going to look towards Donald Trump to salvage the economy, and that's why his polling numbers in 2023 is going to be very, very high, and we're going to see that he's going to take the lead in the polls, and that is my prediction for 2023, and let's see if that happens. China rises in electric vehicle sales. Year after year, EV sales have continued to increase all over the world. In the United States, Tesla continues to dominate that market space, but more and more car manufacturers are coming up with electric cars. They're releasing electric cars for consumers. But the most significant development in 2023 is that more and more Chinese-made EVs are going to go global. And we have already seen that from BYD. They're releasing a lot of electric cars into Australia and New Zealand. They're not releasing cars into the United States market because, of course, there's a US-China tension there. US will probably not allow Chinese EVs to be introduced into the United States. But it does not stop Chinese EV makers from releasing their cars into other markets. And the Chinese EVs are actually very, very advanced. And they're really closing the gap on technology and quality compared to Tesla. And when I say quality, I mean Tesla doesn't really have much quality, okay? But the Chinese EVs are getting better and better, and also they can produce them at a very good price. And you're gonna see more and more countries starting to import Chinese EVs, and you're gonna see more and more Chinese EVs worldwide on the street. That is my prediction for 2023. Let's see if that actually happens. Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg stepping down as CEO. Actually, this is a really, really bold prediction, right? This is really bold because I'm predicting that Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg will step down as CEO of their companies. And for Elon Musk, that has already happened. Elon Musk has already announced that he's going to step down as the CEO of Twitter. So that's not really a prediction, that has already happened. So that's for sure will happen. But I also believe that Mark Zuckerberg will step down as the CEO of Meta because there's just too much pressure there, and the Meta stock prices are crashing. And generally, the investment attitude towards Meta is that they have a lack of confidence in Mark Zuckerberg in turning Meta around. So I believe under pressure, Mark Zuckerberg will, in 2023, eventually relinquish the role of CEO. And I don't know who's going to replace him. Actually, Mark Zuckerberg is a very powerful person in Meta. He does not own majority shares in Meta, but he has controlling stake in Meta. So basically, no one can fire him. But I believe that he will step down just because of the pressure being exerted on him. I believe this is what will happen. Both Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg will step down as CEOs of their companies. Let's see if that happens. Cryptocurrency crashing. So in 2022, we saw the fall of FTX, one of the major cryptocurrency exchanges in the world. I will talk more about that situation but this is what I believe. I believe that in 2023, another major cryptocurrency company will die. And the reason is because cryptocurrencies are not regulated. Most governments do not regulate cryptocurrencies, which allows them to do many bad things. A lot of companies are probably not playing by the rules, and because the whole cryptocurrency market is not doing well, and the weak companies eventually will die, and no government is going to save them. Unlike traditional banks, government generally want to save them, but with cryptocurrency companies, the governments generally are hands off. If you die, you die, okay? So I believe that another major cryptocurrency companies, maybe another exchange, will crash in 2023. And what this will do is that it will continue to lessen the confidence people have in cryptocurrencies. And that's why cryptocurrency prices will continue to drop in 2023, especially with this one company crashing in 2023. This is my prediction. So these are my predictions. Let me just summarize. One, we're gonna see the rise of India. There's gonna be more and more made in India products, more and more manufacturers are going to move to India, and this is going to be our direct competition for Vietnam. And two, we're going to see the reconciliation of the US and China relationships. We're going to see somehow they're going to make up because the world economy is shit. Somehow, for their mutual interest, they have to find a way to work together. And number three, the US President Biden will finally announce that we are in a recession in 2023. And number four, I believe that the interest rate is going up, real estate value in Vietnam is going down, stock market is going down, Bitcoin is going to crash, unemployment rate is going up worldwide, including Vietnam, and inflation rate will continue to stabilize in the first part of the year and eventually drop in the latter half of 2023. And number five, the US presidential election is going to heat up. There'll be many candidates entering into the race, but most people will be watching Donald Trump, and it's gonna take a lead in the polls. Everybody will say they wanna vote for Donald Trump. Number six, China is going to rise in EV sales. You're gonna see more and more Chinese-made EVs sold worldwide. Number seven, Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg is going to step down as CEOs of their respective companies. Let's see if that happens. And number eight, I believe another major cryptocurrency in the world is going to crash. And that will result in basically a cryptocurrency winter in 2023. So there you go. Those are my predictions for 2023. Let's see if they come true. We will review this in the early days of 2024. Take some fucking action. Why don't you put down some of your predictions in the comments, and let's see together if your prediction and my predictions come true. Don't be a fucktard.